Welcome. I am Bryan.
And I'm Bryan.
And this is Bryan versus Bryan, episode 57. Candyman. The Candyman can because he mixes it with love and makes the world go round. This ain't him.
It's a different one.
Oh, yeah. Different than that Candyman and different than the 1992 Candyman. What's up with these movies, man? Just make a sequel that's called the same thing as the first one. It's weird. Let's watch Candyman and then let's watch Candyman directly after it.
Yeah, it's weird. Typically, they throw the around, right? It's like either the original was called The Candyman and then they redo it and just call it Candyman, or it's the inverse where it's like the old one's Candyman, this one's The Candyman, but they didn't do that. They just stuck with Candyman.
Yeah. 2021. So Candyman, it's a sequel, kind of. It's like all these movies are so weird. It's like a sequel / reimagining reboot. It's like the other movie definitely happened. I don't know anything about the sequels to Candyman. I don't remember them. After watching the first one a couple days ago, I kind of wanted to watch the sequels though, just see what they're about. Because have you seen the first one recently?
Yes.
That first one is a lot different than I remember. That is way more psychological kind of a movie than a horror slasher that I remembered.
Mm-hmm.
And it was fucking good. I liked it a lot. I was like, dude, this is sweet. The first Candyman was a really fun. I remember just being so terrified of it as a kid and the bees and stuff. And I was like, watching it again. The bees are like 4 minutes of the movie. Like the last scene, really, when he rips his chest open or when they're coming out his mouth and stuff. It's not much. But blew my mind that that's not the movie I remembered. I remembered it being like some Michael Myers type slasher, which is, Candyman constantly killing people, and it's really not what it was.
Yeah, this one kind of feels more like that. Like you just said, more like Halloween. But yeah, I want to jump into the original because I think it's important. Yeah, fucking when I was growing up, I watched a lot of horror films. Like my parents didn't, shy away from watching horror movies. Like we used to watch Nightmare on Elm Street as a family in the living room, or like Halloween. And it was just as weird as it sounds. It was like not scary. It was more fun. We were kind of riffing on it, and because some of those movies are a little cheesy. But Candyman was different. Candyman actually scared the fuck out of me. Like it's the voice. It's like some of the imagery. It's really bloody. It's just very atmospheric versus the other stuff from the other horror films from back then. So I was always freaked out by Candyman. And then as I got older and kind of rewatched it, I, looking at it through new eyes, I kind of developed this love-hate for the movie. Because I think that the first, and I still feel this way today, I felt the same way when I watched it last weekend. I think the first 45 minutes of Candyman, the original, is really fucking good. I think, ironically enough, the more Candyman shows up, the more disinterested I get in the movie. Because like the first 45 minutes is like, it's almost like a mystery, like she's solving this thing, and you're kind of along the ride, and you're hearing all these stories, and Candyman still at this point is kind of a mystery. You don't know if he's real, if he's not. But then when he starts showing up, he shows up a lot, and it gets a little silly. It's almost like comical. He just keeps showing up. Like he gets into she gets in the mental institution, and he's just like, "Oh hey, didn't see you there. Be my victim." And then like later on, she's at the therapist's office. "Oh hey, didn't see you there. Be my victim." He just keeps like popping up and doing stupid shit, and I don't know. It gets a little less entertaining in my opinion. And he's also a very showy villain. He talks a lot, and he's just kind of there.
Yeah, that's cool. That's who he is. That's his personality. That's the motherfucker's charm.
So yeah, I feel like the first half of that movie is more interesting than when he starts showing up more often. I think it works better when he's not around as much. He's more creepier. But
I think it's all good, but and I really, just thinking about it now, it just reminded me that the fucking scene. When she goes into the bathroom, Candyman chopped off his dick. They found it floating. They found it floating in the toilet. And it's like a kid. It's like, damn, Candyman,
Fucked
what the
up.
hell? And then the guys go in there, the gang members, and beat her up. And they go back to the police precinct, and they have all the guys step forward and sit in line. I'm Candyman, bitch.
Oh, here, look for Candyman, bitch.
Oh yeah. I'm the Candyman, bitch. It was number 7. It was her. Okay. But yeah, first one, pretty good. I liked it. This new one. So this guy is an artist, and I was gonna say art deal. That's his kind of like what his girlfriend does.
Yeah.
Artist. And how did he first forget how it kind of first comes to his attention, all this Candyman stuff?
Oh, so this is
In the
actually
movie.
where I praise the movie. This is kind of like a good example of, you know, I hate bringing this up because I have to bring it up all the time, but I don't watch shit for movie trailers and all that stuff. So I came into this movie thinking it was a reboot. I didn't think this movie had anything to do with the other Candyman at all. I thought it was just like a remake. So one of the opening sequences is the main character is Anthony. His girlfriend, I think it's Brianna. Brianna's brother. They have Brianna's brother over for dinner with him and his boyfriend.
Oh,
and
yeah, yeah.
brother sits down and starts telling a story, and the story he tells is Helen's story. And I was like, oh shit! And I don't know. I thought that was a cool. I just wasn't expecting it. I was like, oh shit! This is actually they're telling the plot of the first movie, but differently, like through the eyes of, a citizen would. Like, we know all this information that these characters don't, so like all this, it's a little different than the movie was. Like, she killed the dog and she was a murderer and all this stuff. So I thought that kind of sets off Anthony to be interested in the story. But I thought that was cool. And like the puppetry, they introduced this kind of exposition puppet thing they keep going back to, which I thought was kind of neat.
We'll get back to that Helen stuff. There's a lot of things in this movie I like. I think overall I like it, but there's a lot of things in this movie that just didn't make any sense to me. As far as the lore and the storyline of Candyman and how they're trying to add so much to it that I didn't know what was going on or how they're trying to explain these things. So I'll rack your brain on that in a bit. But
yeah, for sure. And I actually think that, like, obviously I'm going to save my review score to the end, but I like this movie a lot. But I do think there are some nitpicks I have, and I think what you're getting to, some of the lore of what they give you in this movie is a little confusing. Or at least I went and saw it twice just because I was like, I need to wrap my head around this, because they do a whole new thing with this Candyman, and it didn't quite make sense. It's still
second time you're like, he had a hook? God damn, I missed it.
But yeah, so I'm sure we'll do that.
He gets he's out. He decides to like take up what the heck were the projects called? Dang it, the
Cabrini Green.
Cabrini Green. Yeah, that was cool. That was a real place. Yeah. In the first one, I remember they had to pay off like the gang members and let them be extras in the movie to not fuck with the production.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, so he gets in after that story. Like her apartment, the nice condos were built where Cabrini Green is, are redone, and so he goes. He's taking pictures of old stuff that used to exist. He's pretty much doing the girl from number 1. He's taking pictures. It's like it's an homage. And he gets stung by a bee. Oh no! Here we go. One sting on his right hand, and then his hand starts rotting, and all these things start happening. He starts focuses his art on a special Candyman art piece. What was it called? It was called "Say My Name."
Yeah.
And it's just a mirror. And I was like, that's a pretty lame art piece, dude. But then he's like, no, he opens it up, and then you look in it, and it's got like pictures hanging in it. I was like, okay, that's cool. But nobody knows you can open it up. They're just looking at a mirror.
Yeah.
And like all these people are saying Candyman in front of it at the art show, because that's in the brochure or whatever. That's what you're supposed to do. And so wouldn't you know it, we get some Candyman stuff. And then we were introduced to this character who was a boy who knew Candyman, or a Candyman. So now there's a team of them. Yeah. I don't understand that stuff, because this Candyman is like the quintessential candy man. He's giving out candy, right? And then there was razor blades in the candy, and then the police come and murder him, and then there's still razor blades out in the people's candy, so he was innocent. And so this is where it starts to the stuff I didn't like. So who the hell is this guy? Why is he Candyman? And he's Candyman. He is Candyman in this movie. Like every time you see Candyman, it's this guy.
Yeah.
It's not Tony Todd. It's not the slave who became an artist who would draw the daughters of rich white business owners and then had an affair with the white daughter, was murdered by some white folks in the town and hand chopped off, burned, and then killed by bees. That's the original Candyman.
Mm-hmm.
That's my Candyman. But this Candyman is a little different. So I didn't understand that. It's like, but they said this to happen, you know, like the Tony Todd version happened. So why?
Yeah.
Who is this guy?
Yeah. Let's get in spoilers. I think we should probably start saying spoilers because we've never done in the past. But so spoilers from here on out.
We assume you're going to watch the damn movie before you come in here, everybody.
So what I got, you know, what's cool about both of these, or just Candyman in general, just the idea of Candyman, Clive Barker's Candyman, which, by the way, on a side note, I feel like more Clive Barker work needs to be movies. I think Stephen King needs to fucking take a seat for a little bit, because I think Clive Barker probably should have got his due.
Clive Barker, The Forgotten, right? Wasn't that what it's called?
Forgotten. It's a short story. But the idea is that, you know, it's this weird play of like mythology and stories and giving stories power and things like that. So the way I took it, and it's still confusing me, so I'm not going to try and explain it. This is my thought. But so Daniel Robitaille, which is Tony Todd, I think his name is Daniel Robitaille, he gets murdered, like you just said, and then he becomes this mythology, this way to deal with like pain or injustice and pain. And so like he becomes this, you know, mythological figure. And so, like, the guy says in his exposition scene, because he meets a guy in Cabrini Green when he's doing research, and the guy was like, you know, for me, my Candyman was this guy who got, you know, brutally murdered by the cops, and then his story starts to be told, and so it's like this generational thing of like storytelling and certain people to give them power, so it changes. What I'm getting, so that makes sense to me. But what's confusing to me is that if Candyman is Candyman from the 70s, because this Candyman, what's his name? What's his real fucking name? Sherman Fields. So Sherman Fields is this Candyman, but why then does Tony Todd, Daniel Robitaille come up in the 90s? That doesn't make sense to me. So it's kind of
when he's an older Candyman.
Yeah, so it's kind of weird that, like, okay, that's it doesn't really make sense to me why there's multiple. I mean, it makes sense that there's multiple, but it doesn't make sense that Tony Todd's Candyman comes back in the 90s. You would think that a different injustice would be the new story in the 90s, but it's not. So it's kind of weird.
And then you got to shoehorn in the hook too with this new one, right? He just had a hook. It's like he had like a prosthetic hand. It's like, oh, come on. It's just that's convenient because he's a Candyman. You know, with the Tony Todd original, there's a reason for the hook, you know, because he's freaking got his hand hacked off by the people.
Yeah. So I guess the idea is that, like, you know, Sherman Fields' memory dies at some point, and then because Anthony starts to do some digging on, he finds this other guy who tells the story. So now Sherman Fields kind of becomes into the light again. I think that's why he keeps showing up, and that's why, like, the Say My Name thing, like, it's all bringing the story back of Sherman Fields. I think that's why you keep seeing him, because he doesn't tell the story of Daniel Robitaille. He tells the story of Sherman Fields. Well, no, I guess he does tell the story of Daniel Robitaille. Yeah, see, it's kind of confusing. But, yeah, so at first, you know, when I was going to the movie, I was like, because I didn't know anything about it. So I was like, man, who the fuck is going to fill Tony Todd's shoes? Like, his voice, his presence, like, he's a pretty dominating figure in the Candyman. And then about halfway through, I'm like, oh, there's no voice. There's no, like, theatrical Candyman type of deal, Shakespearean Candyman type of deal.
Yeah.
He's just kind of like a slasher. And I kind of came to terms with, like, okay, cool, whatever. This is a new movie. They're doing something new. I'll deal with it. And I think that some of the imagery in some of these deaths, and I think some of the scenes are really cool, especially the art scene attack. But when we get to the end, I became very happy with what they did, and I'll explain why when we get to the end. But so that was kind of, I didn't expect them to change Candyman.
Yeah, so from there on, we go a little further. We see this character's connection to Candyman, the character he meets, who's the boy.
William
So
Burke.
yeah, so he actually met Candyman. Kind of got him murdered too. It's kind of his fault.
Yeah.
What do you expect? You walk at this kid out of a hole in the wall and
Yeah,
offer him
right.
some candy.
You got a hook for
But
a
that
hand.
was really cool imagery. It was always like holes in the wall in the first one.
Hmm.
Because that was supposed to be how like the first one's lore got started. Like you say, Candyman in the mirror, because it was in the Cabrini projects, and that was so that's another Candyman, I guess. That Candyman who actually like killed people by going into their apartment through the medicine cabinet. So there's another one. But yeah, we get to find out some more information about our main character and how he's actually the baby from the first movie, which was pretty sweet. That's a cool way to do it. And he's got to go talk to his mom, who I believe is Vanessa Williams, right?
The same actress. Didn't she's like Paul
Yeah.
Rudd. She didn't age. I'm like, she looks
No,
exactly the
she
same.
looks fucking exactly the same. It's nuts.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, that was crazy.
I didn't
I was
catch
like,
it
oh,
the first time, but when I went back and watched it, there's a huge scar on her shoulder from the first movie when she gets hacked by Helen.
oh
I didn't
yeah,
catch that the first. Oh shit!
yeah. That's another thing. It's like the first one, Candyman. Everyone thought Helen was the killer. Yeah, Helen became kind of the Candyman, and then you find out by the end of the first one that Helen is actually like the woman he fell in love with. So I guess it's like a transcending time, like it was always you. And
Yeah.
then she sees the mural and it's like her and that the original Candyman when he was alive, like painted. And so that was like some weird connection. He was trying to get her back, and it was interesting. So so Candyman had a reason to like want her to choose to be with him. I don't know.
I don't,
It wasn't
see,
much.
timeout. I don't buy, dude. White women got you killed, bro. White women got you killed. You ain't gonna try a second time. Come on.
No. It's 1992. The world's changed.
This chick's gonna get you killed, bro.
But so we get into the new lore and yada yada yada. This he's slowly becoming Candyman, and like his arm is rotting. I don't understand why, like his face and all this had to rot to be Candyman. I guess this Candyman, the new Candyman, is kind of like he was beaten by the cops, so his face is all fucked up. But
Yeah.
he kind of looked like a burn victim.
Mhm.
So what was he becoming? He was becoming the Tony Todd version because
Yeah,
he
like
was burned, but
yeah.
in the original movie, he looks perfectly fine. He's a
Yeah.
very handsome man. It's very good.
Some of that stuff was cool though.
Like,
I like some of the body horror stuff. There's some stuff where you're like, just like the sound
yeah,
design was like picking at it. It's pretty gross.
the murders were pretty cool. How like you couldn't see Candyman except in like reflections.
Yeah, that was really well done. Yeah, I like the just mirrors throughout the whole movie. Like I don't know about you, but I kept finding myself my eyes darting every time there was like a mirror off to the side to see if he. Sometimes he was in it, sometimes he wasn't. But I thought that was kind of a cool aesthetic.
So one of my biggest problems with what they did was trying to make it this reimagine this character not as a murderer but as a vengeful spirit. I've heard a lot of people call it. So like in the beginning voiceover it says something to the effect of they will say I shed innocent blood, and like were they innocent or something like that. Kind of saying he's like, the cops who killed the this new Candyman, the white townsfolk that killed the original Candyman. And he's kind of like a vengeful spirit, and he they're trying to show like he uh, kills people and maybe they didn't deserve to live, like because these cops who killed him at the end, and we're gonna frame his girlfriend, and so she knows that he's now Candyman. So she looks in the mirror, calls him, and then he murders the cops. I didn't like this kind of stuff, trying to make him this symbol of goodness for the black community because he's not. And it's like, what, you don't remember earlier where the guy murdered the innocent art people, or he murdered the 5 teenage girls at school in the bathroom? It's like you got to pick one. Either he does like justifiable killings, and that's who the character is going to be now, but you can't have both. I just felt like they're trying to do both. There was obviously times where he just murdered innocent people that didn't deserve, like the first one, chopped off the kid's dick in the bathroom. Like he's not a good guy. It's not. I don't want to. You can like the villain. Like I like Michael Myers, but you're not supposed to be like, yeah, rooting for him every kill. You know what I mean? You're supposed to be hoping somebody makes it out. I just didn't like how they kind of waffled on that. I'm fine with that. If you want to make him the good guy, do it, and it'll be kind of different play on it. But I mean, he's murdering people that didn't deserve it in this movie.
Yeah. Well, they kind of make Anthony a tragic figure. You know, the more I thought about the movie after the first time, I felt the movie's kind of sad because, like, this guy who's just living his normal life, he kind of like goes into madness and he gets murdered basically, and then he's just this legend. I don't know. At the end of the day, it's kind of fucking shitty. But yeah, in terms of the other Candyman, the new one, yeah, they're just kind of weird. I guess I never thought about that, of like, because they do say he's innocent, right? Because the whole story is like someone's putting razor blades in the candy, and this guy's handing out candy to the neighborhood. But then after they kill him, they find out that he wasn't the guy. More razor blades are showing up. So yeah, it is weird that he's going around fucking murdering people, but it is what it is.
Yeah, then when the new guy becomes him, he and he spares his girlfriend, who's the actual one who said it in the mirror. You're breaking Candyman code, my friend. So he's going to be the new one, and it's like tell everyone the story. You're like, your story is nothing. Your story is you got stung by a bee, your hand hurt, your hand got rotten, your face looked burned. He didn't do anything himself, right? It was weird. It's like you think he's going to be Candyman by the end of this, but then he gets one scene as Candyman after he's dead. I thought he was going to do some stuff before he died, to create the legend that they always have. But yeah, he didn't really do nothing. And he got shot in the ground for no reason. It's kind of weird. It didn't go the way I thought it was going to. I still liked it. They added some cool lore, all the different Candymen. And we got to talk about. Let's just get the elephant out. Let's talk about. I know we want to talk about it. Let's talk. So at the end, and then he's like a different. They're just so all over the place with the Candyman in this. Like he's floating around, like, when it's like some Raised by Wolves shit when it's his turn to be Candyman. Yeah. And he's like, oh, he turns into the gold motherfucker. He just raises up. And then there's bees all over his face and you can't see. It's like, dude, which Candyman is this? And how come none of the Candymen are the same, except they got to have the hook and they got to have that freaking sheep coat. That's the only thing that connects these guys. So that was weird to me. They just start floating around and doing all this weird stuff. So the bees clear out, and motherfucker, I was waiting this whole movie. I was like, when are they going to do this? I thought he'd be more involved. He wasn't. So it's Tony Todd. This guy has become Tony Todd. And then he's in that awesome voice. Tell everyone, be my victim. That's pretty. So tell everyone. Okay, I'm going to tell them. It's not much to tell, but we're going to start. Story starts somewhere, I suppose. So that was weird to me. Like, I didn't get it. I tried to look up videos about what the ending meant, and then they just kind of rehashed them. But yeah, I understood the ending, but I didn't understand why the fuck he became Tony Todd. Yeah. Because he's the Candyman in the 90s, right?
Right.
and the original guy who the Candyman story is about. So why would he become him when the Candyman was the other guy with the razor blade candy in the 70s? But the 90s movie happened and it was Tony Todd.
Yeah,
I was just like, I was
yeah.
like, what is going on?
This is
Now,
the issues that I have with the movie is the ending. Actually, hold on before I get there because I have some. Not that I can clear that up because I kind of feel you. I have like some thoughts about it, but I don't know. But you might as well take a back seat for a second because I'm gonna fucking rant and rave about this ending. So the movie out of nowhere goes from fucking 0 to 100. At one moment we're in a church, he's getting his fucking hand sawed off. The moment that hook goes in his hand, I just click my seatbelt's on.
yeah.
Let's fucking go.
What was the motivation for this guy to want to change this guy into Candyman just because he saw Candyman once in the 70s? I didn't buy that. I was like, who is this guy? It's like he's just like he wants to be friends with. I want to help Candyman. I want to make the new one.
It's weird. He wants the vigilante like you were talking about, right? And there hasn't been one since Sherman Field, so he thought that he would just create a new Candyman, basically, so that this guy can go around and do some justice. That's kind of how I took it. It comes out of nowhere. I don't necessarily buy it. But at the end of the day, I put my seatbelt on. I was like, all right, we're getting weird. Let's fucking, I'm all aboard on this. So he shuts the hook down, and then she escapes. And then she ends up killing William Burke, was stabbing him about 150 times in the face. And then the cops rush in and they shoot Anthony. And when it gets to the back of the cop car, which, as a side note, I thought that cop was a little too mustache twirling villain. He was a little over the top. It was like, I get it. You could have toned him down a little bit. But aside from that, she's like, can I see myself in the mirror? I'm like, this bitch gonna call Candyman. This bitch gonna fucking, oh shit. And so she's like, can I see myself in the mirror? He's like, no. He's like, I'll tell you anything you want to say. And he's just like, all right, criminal, I'll do that for you. And he spins it. She calls Candyman. Fucking chaos ensues. The cops run around, go, 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 in the fire. And then out of nowhere, you hear that amazing score, which we haven't even talked about that music yet. But the score.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say that song comes in. It's really weird.
Awesome. But that score kicks in. Do 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 do. Boom. And then out of nowhere, you hear, I am the writings on the wall, the whispers on the street. I was like, oh shit, the voice. Because I thought the whole time they weren't going to use it, and then it just comes in the finale like that, and fucking he's killing cops. And I'm like, this is awesome. And then she gets out of the car, and then she runs down the alleyway, and then she sees him. He's like gutting another cop, and then like you said, he like floats over like Candyman Jesus, and then the bees go away, and it's fucking oh shit, it's Tony Todd. And then he says 2 words. He goes, tell everyone. And then it cuts back to her reaction, and like the police sirens in the back, and it cuts to black, and it just says Candyman. I was like, I love movies that end on such a high note. Like, there's no decompressing scene. There's no epilogue. It just ends like... I love when movies do that. I don't know, dude. The fact that they brought the voice back is what made me, like, the hairs fucking came up on my arms, because I thought the whole movie they weren't going to do that, because they didn't. I was like, okay, they're going to do something different. And then in the finale, you fucking come in swinging with that voice. And I thought that Yahya Abdul-Mateen did a pretty good Candyman voice. I don't think it's as good as Tony Todd, but... I thought it was still menacing and creepy, but I don't know. The ending is like one of the main reasons why I wanted to go back and watch it, because it happens so quick, but it's such a fun scene. But I do agree with you that like the Tony Todd, as cool as it was to see him, and it was awesome to see him, and I'm glad they kind of made it a minimal scene. I think that if he was in it more, I don't know, it could have gone either way. But I do like that he's just in that one scene. He has one line of dialogue, which I thought was really cool. But it doesn't make sense, like. Anthony should have been the new Candyman. That should have been the ending of the movie. But I'm wondering if like they wrote the script and shot most of the movie, and like maybe they weren't gonna contact Tony Todd, or maybe during the process they got in contact with Tony Todd, and maybe they kind of needed a way to bring him in at the last second, and so they just did it as like a crowd pleasing thing at the end, because it doesn't really make sense, right? Like,
yeah, I definitely knew he was gonna be in it. Everyone knew he had a cameo or was in it. So I was waiting the whole movie, and then there wasn't any much. So it makes the problem of where was Tony Todd, when this Candyman was running amok, and why was it not Tony Todd?
Yeah.
Why was it 70s Candyman, 90s Tony Todd, obviously like 2020 70s Candyman again? Where was Tony Todd? You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
why did he become him? He's his own Candyman, just like the 70s Candyman didn't become Tony Todd.
Right.
He
Right.
was his own face. So I was like, what? I like having him back, but
Yeah. It doesn't
you
make
got to
sense.
have a better reason.
It should have been Anthony that said, "Tell everyone." That would have made way
Yeah.
more sense. Like he's the new Candyman. That
And
makes,
now, if you want to, if this does really well, you want to do a sequel. What do? Because now you've made him Tony Todd, right?
yeah. My only bullshit.
You'd have to
explanation-
bring him back or something.
Well, here's my bullshit explanation. That's bullshit. That's the best I can come up with. The best I can come up with to make this somewhat make sense is that he's the original. He's the OG. Like the guy said, Candyman isn't one person. It's the hive. It's all these characters, right? But since he's the first one, the OG, he's the one that tells her to tell everybody about Anthony. And then, but from then on out, it'll be Anthony. But he just comes up to like, he's the king, like tell everyone, and then goes away. That's the only explanation I can really come up with. I don't know if that holds any weight, but that's the only thing I can wrap my head around. He just came in to because he's the boss. He's the head honcho, so he just tells her to tell everybody. But yeah, it would have made way more sense if Anthony was the one to tell her to tell everyone.
I think this movie was good. I think it would have been better if Tony Todd was playing the Candyman the whole time. Like, he's so good. Even it could have been even set in the 70s because he was always around and just creeping people out. This new guy was pretty creepy, but the fact that he's not speaking kind of made him not as menacing or Candyman-ish to me. He always seemed too nice. Like he actually wants to give the kid candy for real. You got to kill somebody.
Yeah, I want to.
You like Werther's?
I want to go over some stuff that just really quickly, stuff that I really enjoyed. I love the opening credits and the main theme of the movie. I've been listening to it like nonstop, but like the opening
that theme is so weird and 80s synth. I love it. Yeah,
so good.
I didn't think they would use it because it's almost like a dated 90s terrible soundtrack.
Right.
Somehow became amazing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's not it's no freaking Michael Myers theme or something. It's just kind of I can't even hear it in my head really, but you know it when you hear it. It's just this weird. It's a weird note. It's like, ding ding, and it's like
I'll put it
so
in this
90s and weird. But I didn't think they would be able to use it and try to keep a more serious tone that this movie had than the first one. The first one's kind of more whimsical.
Yeah, and they bring that I think it's Helen's theme on the first one. It's like a creepy, playful piano beat. I think they play it every time they do the puppet thing. There's like a kind of like the theme from the first movie. But yeah, I love the opening credits. I think it's Chicago inverted, looking up, and it's like these buildings kind of going into the clouds. I thought it was really well done. The thing that I think I like the most out of the reason why I went back and watched it, or one of them, is this movie flies by. This movie is an hour and a half. It's quick. Like there wasn't a moment where I wasn't entertained. Like the movie doesn't have any slow time. And for me anyways, like I was pretty entertained from the moment it started to the very end. And it was very brisk. So I kind of appreciated that. It was a quick in and out. I enjoyed the comic relief brother guy. He wasn't too over the top. He just kind of has these quick, funny little quips. Black people don't want to be some of this shit. Like little stuff like that. I thought that was pretty funny. Thought the acting was really well done. Thought everyone was pretty believable. The cinematography was great. There's some really cool shots. One death scene in particular. It's like an exterior of this building, and you see all these apartments, and you see this kind of one of the characters walking through her apartment, and then she gets kind of murdered, but it's like taken from the sky or like from outside the apartment. I thought that was pretty cool. That's kind of it. I mean, there's probably a lot of the puppet stuff. I thought was an interesting way to show exposition, because typically exposition scenes are kind of boring. It's going to the basement. There's always a guy who has papers and maps and tells you the whole story. It's kind of cliche, but I thought they did exposition in an interesting way by using that kind of puppet stuff. That's kind of have all I have on. I do want to talk about one thing towards the end after we rate it, because I like to talk about the stuff after we rate it, because it doesn't affect my rating. But I do have one more thing to talk about after we wrap it all up. But
I'd like to
overall, I
touch on
really
the
enjoyed it.
I'd like to touch on the pacing. I thought the pacing was actually pretty slow,
Really?
and
Wow.
I was bored
Wow.
during a good portion of this movie.
Interesting.
Yeah, there's especially the beginning to the middle kind of areas before we get really any Candyman kills. I found that to be very boring. Um, and the first one I didn't find boring like that because I thought the journey she was on, the mystery of like this investigative reporting
Hmm.
in the ghetto, trying to figure out the scoop, was interesting enough to make the slow parts interesting to me and keep me engaged. This one, you know, he, trying to figure out his story, it just wasn't as interesting to me. Um, I mean, it wasn't incredibly uh, slow, but it was definitely slow. I mean, Jesse looked over at me. He's like, "This is boring." During it, I was like, "Calm down. Let's give it a shot here. It's a building. I'll give him a couple. I'll give him a couple more minutes here."
Yeah.
But yeah, I was a little bored. I mean,
Interesting.
I still liked it. But yeah, I don't think the pacing was. It didn't feel like it flew by for me at all. I definitely felt like I was sitting in that theater as long as I sat in that theater until like the last like 45 minutes, and then
Yeah.
it just starts to,
Ramp up.
then it takes off, and then you're like, oh damn, I could use another hour of that.
Right.
It's over, right?
Well, it's
But
interesting.
yeah, that
Yeah, I felt it went pretty fast. I was pretty entertained through the whole thing. But it's interesting that like to me it feels like an indie horror film dressed up as like a Hollywood blockbuster horror film. And kind of what I mean by that is like I watch a shit. I'm a horror aficionado. Like I love horror films. I love blockbuster stuff. I love indie stuff. But typically, like there are differences. Like usually, indie horror films, for the most part, they're slow burns, and then like the last 15 minutes is like balls to the walls, and then it ends. Like I think of movies like Hereditary or like The Witch. Those are all movies that are like really slow, and then they ramp up at the end. And I feel like this movie does that. Like it's not like a typical slasher. It's not a typical blockbuster Conjuring. You're getting scares through the whole thing. It's like it's very deliberately slow and slow burn, and then like you said, like last 40 minutes are like, all right, here we go. It's go time. So I found it to be pretty interesting. It may turn a lot of people off. I would imagine, but
yeah, I mean, I was getting pretty good reviews.
yeah.
Um, Something just hit me. What I like that this Candyman. I imagine it's always, even though it wasn't in this one, it's always Tony Todd. And then like somebody conjures him, like Helen. And then he kills a bunch of people and they blame it on Helen.
Hmm.
And then Helen dies at the end, becoming a Candyman.
Yeah.
And then it happens to the 70s guy, the Candy. I'm sure Tony Todd probably killed some of those kids. And then they blame it on him. And none of these people actually killed anybody until they become Candyman. And then our new character didn't do anything until that 70s guy kills the art people. He's, I'm sure, going to be blamed for it.
Hmm.
And then he becomes Candyman. That's what's a little confusing because like they get a story told, so everyone knows about Helen, but she isn't Candyman. They know that. It's a different person. But the 70s candy guy, Candyman, actually got to be Candyman. You know what I mean? It's like,
Yeah.
that's why it's weird to me. Because all these, they make a story, a legend. Oh, this person went crazy because it's Candyman. But this guy became Candyman. I don't know. It's just so... They added some cool stuff to the lore, but maybe they went a little too Halloween Part 5 with it. They're trying to add all this, the Season of the Witch type of stuff. And
Yeah,
well,
it's
now
almost like they disregard the ending of Candyman. Like that scene didn't exist. That's kind of how it seems. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
Ellen never killed her ex husband or whatever.
Yeah, they should. Oh yeah, I forgot about that one, where she was like Candyman.
Yeah, she literally
Yeah,
was.
she got to. Yeah, I
It's
forgot
like
about
they
that.
pretend like they don't that scene doesn't exist because yeah, it's weird. Because he says
And
Helen five
Helen,
times in the mirror and she comes
yeah,
strobe lights and all.
Helen with that awful bald,
Yes, ball cap.
bald cap, burn cap. Soon as she came out of the fire, and then it's like the hair was gone. It's just like this big bulbous cap
Yeah.
with all her hair stuffed in it. Ah, take the baby.
What's the matter, Trevor?
Oh yeah, can you blame him? Look at that. That college girl never wore a bra.
Oh, her character's so funny and she's such a fucking annoying. Trevor,
Yeah.
let's make dinner, Trevor.
Oh my god, who cares about your dead ex-wife?
Yeah,
It's like she just died yesterday or some shit. Quit
She's like-
whining.
she's like cutting meat, just fucking
Fuck
ridiculous.
this. I'm the most important. Yeah. So overall, it was really cool. I almost wish Jordan Peele did it. You know what I mean? He co-wrote it and produced it. I almost wish it had a little more Peele in it,
Mhm.
or like he directed it. But it's still pretty good. I hope it gets some kind of sequel or continuation,
Yeah,
but probably not. It seems like these movies are just kind of one-offs that he does. He comes up with a cool story, and this is like at first an existing IP. That's why I've always thought Jordan Peele should get like a cool horror IP,
Mhm.
something kind of like this, kind of
Would've been up his alley,
underground sleeper hit, and then see what he can do with it.
Did you catch
Maybe
the
he
title of
will.
this new movie in there? I kind of grinned a little bit. There's like a scene
No.
where she's looking for Anthony and she goes to the laundry shop and she like goes in the back and she opens up the door and there's like stairs leading down. It's all dark. She goes, "Nope," and shuts it. That's the title of his next. I don't think it was intentional, but I couldn't help but think like, oh, that's the title of his next movie.
Oh nope, I didn't catch it. Yeah. I missed the kid from the first one. That kid was good. I really liked that kid from the first one. He was like help chugging the story along.
Mm-hmm.
Candyman will come and get me.
That whole thing was confusing. I should have paid more attention the second time I was watching it because they capture the guy. "Who are you looking for, Candyman, bitch?" Like after they get that guy, they say something like he killed a bunch of people. So like, did Candyman kill that little kid, or was it that guy? I was always confused about who Candyman you said earlier like the guy Candyman broke through that apartment, but I thought it was the Kingpin guy who murdered some of those people, but I could be wrong.
It could be he didn't murder anyone, and Candyman just did it.
Yeah, that could be too.
It's one of those things where
You just
puts
don't
the
know.
blame on the person, and then that person, yeah. But yeah, that that fucking bathroom, dude. You go in there and she looks in the stall. Every toilet is like missing part of the ceramic, and it's like, dude, what the
shit
fuck?
on the walls.
Yeah.
Literally.
So review time, baby.
Yeah.
I thought this movie was very solid. If you like Candyman, I don't think you'll be disappointed. I think it adds somewhat to the lore, somewhat convolutes it a little bit. Probably tried to do a little too much, but overall, it was a success. I want to do 7.7. Is my review 7.7.
Nice. I'm gonna go higher. I've already kind of expressed all the things I love about it. I mean, I really like this movie. I went and saw it twice. I enjoyed it just as much the second time as I did the first, maybe even more so. Yeah, there's just so many things I like. There are some, like I said, I had some gripes with it. Some of the lore doesn't make sense. Some of the characters are a little, a little much in terms of like the social commentary goes. But overall, I think this movie fucking flies by. This is a movie I'm going to rewatch, time to time again. I just like being in this world. I like the mythology of it. The Chicago backdrop is cool, and I don't know. I just love being in this Candyman world. But I would give this is like one of my favorite movies of the year so far. I would say this is like a 9.2 for me. I really fucking enjoyed it. Really, really. But I do want to talk about. So I like to do this when I come home, I always think of like, oh, how could this go differently? Or what would I would have liked to have seen? But I always kind of want to do it after I review it because I don't want it to make. I don't like doing the thing like, oh, this movie sucks. I would have rather have done it this way, and I don't know. It doesn't really make a lot of sense. But just to have a little fun. I was talking to Sarah. There's that scene in the church where Brianna escapes and she's running through the tunnels. And like that scene is Anthony becoming Candyman. And I was like, oh shit, are they gonna do like Alien right now? In the sense that like Anthony was the main character for this whole movie, but now Brianna is gonna be the main character and he's gonna start stalking her for the last like 15 minutes of the movie. I thought the movie was gonna go like he was gonna stalk her and try to murder her or try to do something for like the last 15 minutes of the movie. She's gonna go to all these different places and being stalked, and they didn't do that, but I thought that would have been kind of interesting where like she actually escapes and like goes to her apartment, tries to get her brother, and like Anthony keeps showing up, and she becomes kind of like the star of the last 15 minutes of the movie. Thought that would have been kind of cool, but I don't know.
Yeah, it would have been.
Because he would have been more Candyman.
Cool.
Yeah.
It would have been cool if he would have actually became Candyman.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because like his hands rotting. So obviously there's something going on that actually is changing him.
Mm-hmm.
But it doesn't happen. You know what I mean? He doesn't kill anybody really until he gets killed. I was hoping like he would become Candyman before he died. You know what I mean? Like he would actually become the bad guy by the end of this thing. I think that would have been pretty cool. But it didn't happen. And so it's like, why did this transformation even happen? You know what I mean? Why does physical body start to change and look burned and the hand rot off for what? If he was just gonna have to die to become Candyman, right? So then why did any of that take place?
Yeah.
I think it was a missed opportunity for him to fully. Our protagonist becomes the freaking evil villain and starts killing all the characters he once loved, and we know that he was making these relationships throughout the movie. I think that would have been pretty cool and dynamic.
I agree. I mean, again, I enjoy what I got. Yeah. I really enjoy, but yeah, I agree. Like I was thinking like, oh fuck, she's gonna be the star of this movie. She's gonna be hunted down. He's gonna become the villain. The voice is gonna come back. Like he's gonna be Tony Todd for the last like 10, 15 minutes. And they didn't go there, but I'm wondering. That
wouldn't go with the vengeful spirit. He actually kills people that deserve it. Oh, fuck all that. I don't want my slasher killing people that deserve it. I want him killing absolutely everybody, bro.
Right. Yeah.
Like what Tony Todd say in the first one is like, I'll slice you from your groin to your gullet.
Yeah. So yeah, it was fuck what I was gonna say. That would have been cool. Yeah, we'll see what a sequel does. Maybe you always have to judge a movie by what you get from beginning to end, right? You can't just say, oh, they'll do it in a sequel, it'll be fine. But I'm wondering like.
Yeah, a lot of times now you don't get the sequel. So
yeah. So hopefully we get a sequel where he is Candyman, and that would be pretty cool. Like he gets to stalk around and do some shit. We'll see.
I've heard some stuff that like this was just a way for them to reboot it so people get interested again, and having Tony Todd at the end is a way for them to continue with Tony Todd.
Are they gonna like de-age him or something? Because he was definitely de-aged.
Yeah, I don't know. I couldn't really tell. I mean, I had a feeling he was de-aged because I don't know if I've seen him recently, but
yeah, he's old as fuck. I was watching an interview with him.
Yeah,
he's definitely de-aged in this.
Sweet. Yeah, I mean, shit, the de-age everybody. Let's just do a whole 4-hour movie of de-aged Candyman. be like the freaking Irishman in here. Yeah. Walking into CG grocery stores.
Cool.
But yeah, that was a fun watch. I'm glad I went and saw it in theaters. Right on. So we both liked it. Obviously, one of us liked it a lot more than the other. That's crazy. What'd you say? 9.2?
9.2, yeah.
Wow, that's very high, man.
I really liked it. Yeah, it's up there for me for the movies of the year, which is funny because I just made that my 5 favorite movies. I think that one of those is going to be bumped off.
Uh-oh. You better add another second onto that video. It's going to be 18 seconds.
I don't think it's as good as Pig or Saint Maud. You should definitely check out Saint Maud. Saint Maud's dope as fuck. It's on Paramount right now. But I don't think it's as good as those two. It's probably like my 3rd favorite so far. Obviously, that's going to change. We have a fuck ton of movies coming in the next half. It's like, I mean, Top Gun just got moved, but other than that, it's still pretty stacked.
I know. I was telling Jesse about all the movies I want to see in theaters before the end of the year. And she's like, I'm not going to all those. I was like, why would you not want to name one of those that you wouldn't want to go to? She's like, I'm not going to the Flash. I was like, do you fucking know what the Flash is?
Yeah.
It's like, do you know? I was like, that Michael Keaton is returning as Batman in this movie. She's like, what? It's like, yeah. She's like, really? Like, yeah, we're going. I don't know. I'm not into the new Spider-Man movie. Did you know in the new Spider-Man movie that Willem Dafoe, freaking Molina, and all other Spider-Mans are in it? Really? We're going to all these.
God damn it.
Y'all have something crazy going on, dude.
Right.
It's like at least 6 must-go theater watch movies left.
Yeah, it's like fucking Ghostbusters.
Ghostbuster, yeah.
James Bond. Well, for me, James Bond. Fucking Dune. Matrix. Fucking Spider-Man. It's like, fuck, dude.
I'm worried about this. I'm worried about this Matrix movie, man.
Yeah, I'm worried about
it. No longer from the Wachowski brothers or sisters.
Yeah,
it's just from a Wachowski. Because the other one's like, yeah, I was a guy when I made that. I don't like that movie anymore.
Yeah,
it kind of reminds me of a dark time of my life.
Yeah, it got me concerned when the sister was like, I didn't want to do a sequel. I was like, oh shit. So either like the brother wrote it and the sister didn't like it or something. I don't know. It's not a good sign when one of them is like, no.
I didn't know that they transitioned. So it's like, I was like, when I started rewatching Matrix a while back, and then I kept hearing about like Lily Wachowski. I was like, who the hell is Lily Wachowski? That's like the whole family doing this or what? And then I found out, I was like, oh, they're the same person. That's just freaking me out. I was like, what are you talking about, dude?
Like a daughter or a sister?
The Wachowski brothers. What are you doing?
Yeah.
So I didn't know about any of that. I just recently kind of found out some of that. But yeah, what worries me is like no what the heck's the actor's name? Morpheus.
Lawrence Fishburne.
Yeah, no Lawrence Fishburne, and they're saying this is called Resurrections or something, and it's got like a young Morpheus in it. Yeah,
really?
I don't know.
Hold on, I'm gonna look that up. I didn't know that. Dude, Lawrence Fishburne's the shit.
It's got a young Morpheus. Yeah, Fishburne, or he didn't want to do it either.
Fuck, dude.
So I don't know. Without him, I'm worried.
Yeah, dude. Like Morpheus is awesome.
Yeah, and I don't want to see a young Morpheus dealing with a regular aged Neo. Like this is going to be some weird story.
Oh shit!
To make that work.
So I'm looking at the cast, and the only 2 people who have names on the cast right now is Keanu Reeves and Neo and Carrie-Anne Moss and Trinity. Guess who doesn't have a character name, but he's probably Morpheus. But guess who's Morpheus? Maybe is Candyman. Yahya Abdul-Mateen II.
What?
Yeah, I mean he doesn't have a character name, but he's right there at the top of the list next to Trinity and Neo. So I'm assuming he's Morpheus now.
He seems like way too tall and buff to be Morpheus, but we'll see. He seems like Tank from the first one. This is our operator, Tank.
Yeah, dude. Sarah and I were laughing that like there's so many like what do you even call it? Like shots where they're making him look all sexual, like when women are sexualized in movies. There's so many shots in Candyman with him just with his shirt off and his boxers.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. It was just like it's kind of hilarious.
His got a weird body. It's almost like it's like you took a small person and just injected them with all the muscles you could find.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like
Captain America.
It's like it's like too much muscle for his frame. It's like, dude, I feel like I'm just looking at muscles in a skin sack. You know what I mean? It's like you don't have a body, you just have muscles. There's no ribs. There's just little muscles right there.
Like a muscular suit he's wearing.
Yeah, you don't have bones. It's just complete muscle tissues.
Yeah, he was definitely sexualized in the movie. That was kind of funny.
Yeah, that guy is freaking crazy. Like, imagine trying to buy a shirt to fit around that damn chest. Like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
All right.
Cool, yeah.
Well, yeah. 7.2, 9.2. Wait, I know I had 7.7.
7.7.
You messed me up adding a point. Now he's getting into the point system here. 9.2, 7.7. Yeah, it was fun. It added to it. pretty well.
I'm glad you liked it. Maybe it was in my head a little bit. I was kind of projecting you not liking it for some reason. Like, it was weird because I didn't think we were gonna do it. Like, unfortunately, we were gonna maybe have done it, but your work schedule thing got in the way. So I didn't know at the time that we were gonna do it. So I typically don't look at reviews or read anything until after we do this.
Yeah.
But I didn't think we were gonna do it. So I was reading reviews. I typically go to like Variety and a couple of stuff when I read, and then like if I want more, I'll go to YouTube. And most of the stuff online was pretty positive. I was like, yeah, I'm kind of online with you guys. Well, then when I jumped into the YouTube stuff, that's when I started getting all this movie fucking sucks, it's woke trash, and it started to piss me off a little bit because I'm like, I think there's more to this movie than that. Like, I think you're kind of being a little too harsh on it. And yeah. I was wondering if you were going to fall under that line or not. I was kind of nervous, but you seem to enjoy it quite a bit. So I was happy that you at least liked it.
Yeah, I definitely liked it. So I mean, Candyman's always had a place for me just because it was one of the movies I just feared as a kid.
Yeah, yeah.
For no fucking reason. Obviously, now watching it again, I'm like, what? Yeah. This ain't no Friday the 13th. It's very in your head thriller. The first one and this one. It's not. Well, this one is a little bit more, I would say, brutal. I don't know if it has a higher kill count, but it feels like it does when you watch it. You know what I mean? So yeah, I would really, and then I was like, once I rewatched the first one, I was like, man, but I already decided to go see Candyman. I wanted to, but really after watching the first one, I was like, oh man, now I'm hyped. Now I want to go see Candyman. And actually, I'm probably going to go track down those sequels and see what those are about. Because how do you continue that first movie? Helen's dead, you know?
Yeah,
I think she's in them. No,
well, fuck. I think that she's in the opening scene of I've seen the sequel. I saw it Uptown when I was younger, so I haven't seen it since. But from what I remember, digging into my fucking memory box here, but I think it takes place in New Orleans, and I think that it's a new woman. Like he's chasing down another blonde chick.
It's like a witch doctor Candyman.
Yes, it's very like voodoo type stuff.
Be my victim. Be my victim. It's like Miss Cleo or something. It's in the cards.
Jock, Saint Jock, swinging his dick on the beach. What a lowly woman you!
What'd you be out here crying for? Yeah, I kind of want to see Candyman 3 too. I'm sure that was just.
Yeah, I haven't seen that one.
I'm sure that was just a cash grab bullshit. Once you get to 3. And it's not, I really want to see that one. I'm sure that's like Candyman and the City of Angels. I'm sure it's got like a ridiculous, they always got to put like a stupid little phrase. Candyman 2 stands on its own. You just put the 2. But then once you get to the ones where you start to add, Children of the Corn 4, corn season.
Yeah.
You always got to add the stupid little title.
Well, the sequel, I don't think it's Candyman 2. I think it is. Wait, I think
is it something?
It's Candyman Farewell to the Flesh.
The shitty ones.
No, it's Candyman Farewell to the Flesh.
Candyman 4, Be My Victim.
Yeah.
Or Candyman 5, Bloody Valentine.
Shit.
All right, brother.
Candyman 6, Social Justice.
We're getting there. No, it should be called Candyman, Defund the Police. Look what they've done.
Oh, shit.
All the police are definitely evil in this new movie.
Oh, yeah.
Like real evil. I'm surprised I'm not going to get into it.
Well, I mean, we can tap in a little bit. I didn't mind the police thing because at the end of the day, if that's the story you want to tell, that's the story. I mean, there's plenty of other movies where cops are the heroes and all that. It's good to have both, but I just didn't like that one character. That character was just too much. Like tone him down a little bit. He was a little ridiculous.
No, I didn't like the way they did that. The 70s ones, that's a little better. They just run in the room and they don't show much, and what happens, but the cops don't talk about it. So you assume they're trying to protect the kid. It's not like malicious. They didn't come in there knowing he's innocent. You know what I mean? Right. But at the ending one, when they just walk in the room and she's like, "Think I need your help? Shut up!" And then when they're coming out, man, it's a shame we had to shoot him. Shame we had to murder everyone.
Yeah,
it's like it'd be one thing if they shot him. because he's got a fucking bloody hook for a hand. That's pretty menacing. That's probably maybe that's the guy we're supposed to shoot. You know what I mean? That's a mistake you could easily make. But to then have them be like, "Yeah, we did it on purpose," and yeah, you're gonna tell the story we want. You know what I mean?
Well, it
That was a
doesn't.
little.
They didn't do a good job because they didn't just go in there and shoot him because he's black. Like the movie does kind of a poor job of putting all the blame on Anthony, because at this point the city thinks that Anthony is committing these crimes because the crimes are committed to or are related to his art piece. So he becomes kind of like a possible victim. And so when William Burke, before he saws his hand off and shoves a hook in it, he calls the cops and says, "Hey, the guy who's been killing people is down here. Fucking come and get him." But I just don't think that they did that's not good enough for me. Like they should have maybe had some police scenes where they're looking for him or something that way. Like not that his death is justified at all, but like at least there would have been something.
You don't need to have the cop, talking about the cover up. You know what I mean?
That's why I'm saying he was a little much. Yeah,
it's unneeded. He could just get in the car, and that's that.
Yeah.
Cops show up at a scene. Oh, there's a murder, and they see who they think the murderer is, and they shoot him. That's a done deal. You don't have to explain like, yeah, we knew we were shooting him just because we wanted to shoot him.
Right. It was a little on the nose.
Yeah, I mean, he could have just came and sat in the car, and then it could be some tension right there. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But I kind of understand, because then if she wants to use Candyman to get out of the situation. If they don't say anything and they just get in the car, these are kind of, you feel like it's a justified shooting. They come here for a murderer, they kill him, they don't say anything, they get in the car. Then she says Candyman, and then Candyman comes and brutally murders the cops. Yeah. It's a different scene. Then it's like you kind of feel bad for the cops. Then, yeah. So I get it. It was a way to get her out of this situation. But yeah, it was a bit on the nose. That guy, he was like,
yeah. He was my biggest issue in that whole scene.
He was like the quintessential evil cop character, dude.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's get on out of here and have some fun, baby.
Yeah.
Okay. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Check us out on all the platforms. We got what the heck? We got Apple. We got Spotify. We got the YouTubes with the pictures. We got it all, baby. Coming soon to your smart fridge. Everything. So go check it out. It's an enjoyable movie. Definitely. Kind of a fun time to get back in the theater. There's actually some things coming out that make you want to go out.
Yeah, definitely.
Hopefully Delta doesn't stop that. I don't understand how these theaters are staying in business though. Like when I went there, I was the only person in the damn theater. It's like, how are you keeping the lights on? It's crazy to me. Especially the one I go to. And I choose to go. There's nicer ones that I'm sure are more busy, but it's just something about the old theater I used to go to in high school, still being able to go to it and have the theater all to myself.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's super dope. Yeah. I just choose whatever seat I want. And I'm all alone. I got to worry about nothing. Me and Jesse are like talking. We can talk during it because there's no one in there. Did you see that? We're just yelling because the movie's so loud. And then another thing, the guy came in, like an usher came in and kind of stood by the stairs and was like looking at kind of stayed there for like 10 minutes. I was like, dude, Jesus, this fucking guy. It's like, leave.
Yeah.
It's just us. What are you doing?
Just like trying to watch the movie.
And I had like my smuggled candy in the little cup holder thing. It's like, yeah, I got my chewy spree. What are you gonna do about it?
You got like a beer helmet with a fucking tube. Oh shit!
Kick me out of this theater. This whole shit sinks. All right. Do you want my $12 or not?
Oh man.
I don't know how you're getting paid.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways. Yeah. Go check it out. This is fun times. There's lots of even better movies coming out the theaters, so it's gonna be fun. Hopefully they can get some revenue. I'm hoping. Let's see, man. I want to see Ghostbusters dominate this box office year. See if Ghostbusters can beat out Spider-Man and all these things coming out. That'd be really cool. I doubt it. I think it's going to be top when it comes out, but I imagine Spider-Man, Flash. What's the other one?
Well, Flash
Spider-Man, Flash
next year, I think.
Okay. Well, I imagine Spider-Man and Matrix probably have the best chances of being number one of the year as far as money. But
Yeah,
we'll
I think
see.
is Dune. If Dune's rated R, then I don't think it has a chance. Because typically rated R movies just don't make as much because you alienate half of your audience. But I think Dune probably has a pretty good chance. Spider-Man for sure. I mean, every Marvel. I mean, Shang-Chi right now, people are raving that's making a fuck ton of money. I think it is. But I mean, it would have made a lot more money pre-COVID. But I think it's projected
Yeah.
to make 90 million this weekend, which I think is one of the biggest openings since the pandemic. So yeah, we'll see. Ghostbusters, I think, will make a fuck ton of money.
Yeah. I think it's going to be great. And then, oh, did you see they showed it at the Sony thing? They showed the whole
Ghostbusters?
movie. Yeah. They showed the
Yeah,
whole
I think
movie to
I
the
showed
audience.
you a tweet of somebody that said
Oh,
like,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
"Oh, someone saw it and they said it was everything we could possibly want," which was like, that's all
Yeah.
I needed to see. I don't walking away from all
Everybody's,
trailers and all stuff. I'm like, that's all I needed.
everybody's raving about it, saying it's
Awesome,
great.
that's great.
So,
Can't wait.
yeah, for sure. All right, guys. Take her easy. Thanks for hanging out. Please like, subscribe. Please check us out on your favorite platforms. Till next time.
Yeah, peace. Take care.
Peace.